Ladies and gentlemen, and for today something very different. I will predict Nintendo in 2019. I truly believe these things might happen, so listen closely and hold tight. One list, 10 predictions, one boy and too much coffee, let's go!
A January Direct. This is a safe bet and one that will probably happen. When we look at all the past Nintendo Directs, we can see that we had a mini Direct in January of 2018, a Fire Emblem Direct in January of 2017, and also a normal Direct in 2015. So it seems that Nintendo likes to start off a new year with new information. Also, the last Standard Direct was in September of 2018, with one about Super Smash Bros. Following in November. So we've gone a long time without any new information. Pretty much all the big games releasing in 2019 don't have a release date yet. So it's about time that we get some new information on that. Together with the announcement of a few new games, I think this will be one to look out for. And now on to number 9. Since we have seen remakes for Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, Wind Waker and Twilight Princess, Skyward Sword should be next on the list. Take this together with the huge tease that we got in November from series director Eiji Aonuma, who stated during the Legend of Zelda concert in Japan. We know what you're thinking, Skyward Sword for Switch, right? After that, he was met with thunderous applause by the audience. Now that would be enough information to confirm it, you would think. Well, shortly after, Nintendo shut this rumor down by contacting Eurogamer and stating, "At this time we have no plans to release The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword on Nintendo Switch." But take this with a grain of salt. Nintendo also stated that they wouldn't end production on the Wii U, which they shortly after did. Or what about them denying that a bigger 3DS was in the works? Well, we got the 3DS XL not much later. It could be that they just want to stop the hype or don't want to give people an idea of what's coming. But it could also mean that Skyward Sword HD is really not happening. I believe that it is happening, and we will see it in 2019. It would be weird for Aonuma to throw out a random statement like that. But we will see. They already released some great third-party games on the Switch and even more on the horizon. One of the best things is that Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 will be exclusive for the Nintendo Switch, which is a huge deal for Marvel and Nintendo. One of the main ways that I think third-party support will continue is through Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, as I think all DLC will be third-party. The DLC this time has been decided by Nintendo themselves and not Sakurai, which would also mean that they have reasons to include certain characters. Starting with Joker from Persona 5, it's probable that they made deals with different companies to include certain characters, as it would be a huge deal for a company to have their character appear in Smash. For your character to be included is one of the biggest honors in the video game industry. I think we will probably see Persona 5 on Nintendo Switch very soon, and as soon as we know about the other characters, similar deals will present themselves. I strongly believe this, as it would make the most sense why Nintendo picked the characters this time. And now, moving on. There are some indications that we will see a new version of the Switch this coming year. This could be a light version or an upgraded version. With the 5.0 firmware update last year, hackers found a reference to a new Tegra 214 chip, which would be an improvement on the current T210 chipset. It also made notice of an upgraded RAM from 4GB to 8GB, which all would be an indication to an upcoming hardware upgrade. Analysis also suggests that Nintendo Switch Mini might be on the way, as Nintendo can make the Switch more accessible to smaller children, as the current Switch might be a bit too big for them. So the evidence is there, and it would be a logic move for Nintendo to make. If it will happen, we'll see. With Skyward Sword possibly appearing, I believe we will also see a brand new Zelda game. Since the release of Ocarina of Time in 1998, there has mostly been a new Zelda game every year, with sometimes a gap year in between, but that would be the biggest gap between games since then. With Breath of the Wild releasing in 2017 and no new Zelda game appearing in 2018, we have had our gap year, which would mean we get a new Zelda game almost certainly. Now, I do believe it's too soon for a new 3D game. Most of the time this would alternate with a 2D Zelda for the current handheld console and a 3D Zelda for the home console. But with the 3DS slowly fading away in the background, I do believe this 2D Zelda will be released for the Nintendo Switch. Also, the release of a new game will not be pushed away by Skyward Sword HD, as the remakes are mostly handled outside the main Zelda teams. As you can see, all remakes have been released in the same year as a new game. So things are looking good for Zelda fans in 2019. Nintendo has dabbled a little bit in the mobile industry and has seen some great successes with games like Super Mario Run, Animal Crossing Pocket Camp and Fire Emblem Heroes. Now they will continue this trend in 2019 with a Mario Kart and a new Zelda game planned to be released from mobile devices. But these are not the only ways Nintendo will expand besides their own video game consoles. Super Nintendo World is set to be unveiled in Japan in 2020, which is a brand new theme park located in Universal Studios in Japan. And a Super Mario Bros. Movie is reportedly in the works at Illumination Studios. Furukawa, president of Nintendo, also explained in a recent interview that video game consoles might not be their main focus in the future. It has been over 30 years since we started developing consoles. Ninintendo's history goes back even farther than that. And through all the struggles they faced, the only thing that they thought about was what to make next. In the long term, perhaps our focus as business could shift away from home consoles. Flexibility is just as important as ingenuity. So we will probably see the shift slowly in 2019. (2015) Miyamoto to Eurogamer. Pikmin 4 is actually very close to completion. Pikmin teams are always working on the next one. 2016 Miyamoto to Gamerant. We're working on Pikmin 4, so you know when we're in development we have to create a list of priorities, and it has been hard to kind of fit that into the list, but we're hopefully starting to see that on the list now. 2017 Miyamoto to Eurogamer. We can confirm that Pikmin 4 is in development, but that's all we can confirm at present. 2018 Nothing. Nintendo normally doesn't even announce games just outside a direct or presentation. So I have to believe Pikmin 4 is coming in 2019. With rumors floating around since 2015, and even with its existence confirmed, we have to get to the finish line. And I believe that finish line is 2019, because 5 years is a heck of a long time. With Nintendo Switch Online, you get 3 new NES games per month. But I believe this could expand to SNES games in 2019. And why? Well, the main clue is the stop of the production of the NES Mini and the SNES Mini. Both of these stopped production at the end of 2018. Nintendo of America President Reggie Fils-Aimé stated in an interview with The Hollywood Reporter. We've said that the current systems are the extent of our classic program. We've also been clear that at least from an America's perspective, these products are going to be available through the holiday season, and once they sell out, they're gone, and that's it. The way that consumers will be able to continue participating with our classic content is going to be through Nintendo Switch Online. And we just released 3 new games for the NES generation onto that platform. We look at that as the main way that consumers will experience that legacy content. So that leaves the door wide open for SNES content. And with the discontinuation of the SNES Mini, I believe 2019 will be the time we will see these games appearing on a Nintendo Switch. Besides all the new games we will see, I do believe we will also get more DLC. Nintendo's president, Furukawa, stated in 2018 during an earnings meeting, "We need continuous growth. We must keep releasing new software. That includes DLC and other contents for big titles that are already out." So, new DLC in 2019 is a huge possibility. Now we of course already know that Super Smash Bros. Ultimate will see its fair share of DLC in 2019. But what are some other contenders? I believe Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is still a big possibility. It's also one of the oldest Switch games and released a new skin for Link last year, out of the blue. So to keep the game fresh, that would be a nice addition. As I think it will be a big year for Zelda, some Breath of the Wild DLC is also not out of the question. But there is one game that won't receive any big DLC, I believe. And for a good reason, and here's why. Super Mario Odyssey will get a sequel. Now, this might not be this year, but I certainly think that we will get the announcement. Think about it. All the big games from the Nintendo Switch have received a paid DLC boost since release. Breath of the Wild, Mario + Rabbids Kingdom Battle, Splatoon 2, Xenoblade, and what did Mario Odyssey get? A few costumes and Balloon World, which were all free. It makes no sense. Super Mario Odyssey is the best-selling Nintendo Switch game, with 12.17 million copies. It would be crazy not to implement paid DLC, because a lot of people would pay for it. I know I would. So why don't they do that? There is only one explanation, and that's because we will get Super Mario Odyssey 2 for Nintendo Switch. This is exactly what they did with Super Mario Galaxy, with the original appearing in 2007, and the sequel appearing in 2010 for the same console, the Wii. There is so much possibility with Odyssey. More kingdoms, more enemies to capture, an even bigger moveset. It will be amazing to see more of this series, and I really believe it will happen. 2020 looks like a more realistic release date, but the announcement will probably come this year. I'm a big believer on that. So, that was my list. Do you agree with me, or do you think something else will happen with Nintendo in 2019? Let me know in the comments. So, if you like this video, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel, because if you do so, I will love you a lot. If you have the time, you can check out one of my other videos right here, and if not, then I hope to see you next time. Goodbye.